Welcome to the Nikki Speaks TV show, the Mental Health Series. Join me on this show as I interview mental health experts and business owners to share their perspectives. Let's explore grief, anxiety, and stress, relationship topics, divorce, adapting to life change, and women empowerment. Join me as we talk about and explore mental health together. This is Nikki Speaks TV. Welcome to Nikki Speaks TV, you guys. Today, I have my special friend, Gisela McKeel, and she is a creative branding photographer, educator, and serial entrepreneur. So I'm so happy. I know you guys are going to enjoy this episode. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here,
Good.
actually.
You look fabulous,
Thank
as
you
always.
very much.
That perfect smile.
Thank you.
Well, as you know, I have started, having episodes about mental health issues and interviewing entrepreneurs that have a story, which we all do. But, something that you can share with the audience that you've been through and it's impacted you in some way. But I want to start out by asking you what your why is. What is your purpose with your business, your brand, and, just your purpose for living?
Wow, that's a deep question. My why is my grandmother and just the legacy of her. So I'm named after my grandmother.
Aww.
Her name was Gisela McGrew. I'm Gisela McKeel. And just seeing her life and seeing all that she's accomplished and the amazing woman that she was, it is my very strong why to carry on that legacy. And I kind of feel like because I'm named after her, it's like a responsibility, but it's really just to carry on the legacy of her kindness. You know, she was also an entrepreneur. She was a pastor. She was on many, many boards. And so just to carry on that legacy, and also for my kids that are not yet born, but just really changing generations from the things that I do, the time that I have here on this earth.
I think that is so important. Just remember, like you said, carrying on that legacy and making sure that you're living out, her purpose through you. So tell me about her, though. What are some things that you remember about her? Like I know with my grandmother, I have so many special memories that I hold dear.
So I wish that so my grandmother passed 4 years ago. Okay. And so I wish I would have talk to her more about entrepreneurship and the struggles and the grind of it all.
Yes.
But she was a woman that, so she graduated from high school. Okay. And then she went to one semester of college, and then she got married and then had, her kids. She had 4 kids, and she waited for all of them to graduate from high school, graduate from college. And in that 20-year gap, 25-year gap, she then went back to college.
What?
After that, she not only went back to college and got her bachelor's, but she went all the way up and got her PhD. So she's actually Dr. Gisela McGrew. And so it's just that determination in itself. It's just girl, what are you doing? If your grandmother could do it.
Right. Exactly. You can. We all can.
That is really one of the things that I always remember just about her determination. Like she said she was going to do something and she did it. And I think her life is kind of how I got my life mantra, which is love God, love people, and follow your dreams, because that's exactly what she did throughout her whole life. Yeah.
God, people, and your dreams.
That's it.
That's awesome.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I also know, I love your family.
Yes, they love you too, girl.
And you guys all look so perfect together. I'm like, how does a family look like that where everybody looks alike, So tell me about your family.
Oh my gosh, my family truly is everything. So my family consists of my mom and my dad, who are about to celebrate their 40th year anniversary.
Yay! Wish I had something to shake.
Right, a little shaker. And then my big brother, and he
You're
is
twin.
recently, right, we're all twins. He's recently married. So my sister-in-law, which I just call my sister, and my niece, who is really my twin.
Yes.
So, I'm just so grateful that we are so close. And man, I'm grateful for my family.
Yeah.
And just talking about mental health, like yesterday, so I'm a full-time entrepreneur, have been that way for like 4 years.
Right.
And it was just one of those entrepreneurial days where it's just like, like
I've been
I
there.
cannot see past my struggles. I cannot see, I can't see it.
Right.
You know, it was just one of those days that was extremely tough. And I actually had a couple of days like that. And so I talked to my mom, and it's amazing how God just knows kind of
What you need.
what you need.
Uh-huh.
So that day, which was yesterday, my mentee texted me, and he was just like, "Hey, you're on my mind. Can I pray for you any way?" And I'm crying like, "Oh my God, that happened." Then I talked to my mom, and I talk to my mom like every day, and so my mom was just like, "Are you okay? Like something's going on. Like you need some encouragement." So she like gave me encouragement, right?
Wow.
Then I'm sitting in my home office. Then my brother and my sister, which is his wife, comes, knocks on my door. And I'm like, who's knocking on my door? No one knocks on my door other than Amazon, right? And I'm like, I did not order anything.
Amazon's on everybody's door.
Right. And I'm like, who's knocking at my door? And it's my brother and my sister. And they came to like drop off a card. And I'm a plant mom, so like a plant. And this card was just like everything that I needed. And so it's just like, that's the type of family that I have. It's just like there and present and praying and just an amazing, amazing, amazing family, which I'm very grateful for.
What kind of prayers are you doing for the people to pick you up in the spirit like that? I know it's family, but the mentee too.
The mentee, yeah. Shout out to Chris. Oh my
goodness.
Yeah.
So it's such a blessing, though, when you, like you said, when you have family that's supportive in entrepreneurship, especially because you are going to have those days.
Yeah.
That you feel like, I can't see beyond, my issues, my problems.
Right.
My finances.
Right.
So much faith is required, when you're standing up for yourself and your business and so forth. So tell me your passion for entrepreneurship, because you can. I know for myself, starting with entrepreneurship, it's easy to say, okay, I'm going to get a job, that is 9 to 5, working for somebody else. So how did you stay in the game for so long and continue, pursuing your goals and dreams?
It's kind of inside me, and I think that is first. I had my first business when I was 8 years old, and it's called Nicole's Knickknacks. Oh, because my middle name is Nicole.
Yes. My name twin.
Yeah, I know. It's called Nicole's Knickknacks. And so I think on this journey of life, at some point, I was going to go and do my own thing, because I've always kind of been extremely independent. Like, so it just kind of was always my thing. And so I actually started my photography business, on accident in college. And so it was part-time for many, many years. Sometimes it was no time, right?
Yeah, right.
And
college.
all right. And so once I became a teacher, I was a teacher for 4 years. And once I became a teacher, I kind of knew at what point it was kind of time for me to go, because I used to take off to go do photo shoots, and I would take off to location scout, and I would take off to do my photography work.
Right. You're like, it's a shift, right.
And then I taught 7th and 8th grade. So they can pretty much handle themselves. And so they knew I'll be like, Miss McKeel, about to go edit this photo shoot.
I was about to say, you edited.
Y'all do what y'all supposed to do. Like, just chill. I got to finish it. Yeah. And so I knew at that point I wasn't being excellent in either one of those things. Right. I wasn't fully being excellent in my business because of work, and I wasn't fully being excellent in my work because of my business. Yeah. So I knew it was time for me to choose. And so that's when I knew it was time to go. And so when I did go, it's really just about making extreme sacrifices. And I really give my entrepreneurial journey to my parents. Like, my huge sacrifice was moving back home, which, like I said, I'm extremely independent. Like, all through college, I had apartments. I've never had a dorm. So me moving back home was like
a sacrifice.
Oh, no, like, I must believe in this dream, because
hey, you got to do what you got to do.
So, but I lived there for 4 years.
Yeah,
and so
whatever it takes,
literally whatever it takes. And so, just always seeing the vision and always knowing that, like, okay, what I have, someone needs. And I can't let my job be a distraction, or even when I get frustrated and I was like, Google photography jobs, I'm like, this per hour?
Right.
I literally make 20 times this per hour. So I knew I couldn't go back. Right. And so
I'll get halfway through the application. I'm like, this is too much work. I could be spending this time doing something.
Yeah, it's too much. So it's just like, I knew that, not going back just wasn't for me. And I know some people go back and come, and that's perfectly. Actually, I had a situation where I did that. So my first year of teaching, I quit because I'm like, oh heck no, like these nasty kids.
He's like, I'm not doing this.
I taught elementary at that point. I was like, and I did. I went full-time entrepreneurship, and it was not time. Okay. It wasn't, and everything was great until it wasn't.
How did you know? Because I feel like there's some people that may be pursuing entrepreneurship and they don't know when to go, or when to have the faith to stay. What would you say to them?
So when I left the first time, when I left after my first year teaching, I thought, and I wasn't doing necessarily photography full time. I was a health coach as well. Okay. So I was doing like my health coach business and kind of photography a little bit on the side, but I was still a full-time entrepreneur.
You were a serial entrepreneur back then too?
Yeah, I know, huh? That's crazy. I didn't even think about it. I never thought about that. I guess I was.
Serial entrepreneur. What, 8? No.
I have 2 businesses at that point. Wow. But some things are just not supposed to be that hard. Yeah. Like it got to a point where I was, I was homeless. I was living in my car a little bit some nights. I was on friends' couches. And so at that point, I'm just like, I did not ask God to do this. And I did it because of my frustration. And nothing's going right. Wow. Nothing.
That part.
And I even met at that point, at my lowest point in my life, I even met my ex-husband. And so that it derailed my life really for a while until I got back on. So it's just like, if things are literally going just terrible, falling apart, like we have to understand that entrepreneurship is sometimes it's a life promotion, and so it's just like, once you've been great at your job, or once you've had a season at your job, you're going to be promoted to an entrepreneur. And so you kind of have to look at that way. And so if you get your promotion and everything is hell, maybe it's not the time. It's not the time. Or that's not the right place to be at that point. And so I knew it the second time going around. I knew it because, again, I wasn't being excellent in all that I do. Yeah. And so that's how I knew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens. So speaking of your serial entrepreneurship, let's talk about some of your businesses and brands that you have going right now that are current. I love them all, by the way.
Yeah. My forever business, photography. Right. Like I said, I started my photography business in college on accident. And that's been my business ever since then. And I just been really, really, really blessed to have built a successful photography business all these years.
You are my photographer too.
Yes, I am. Yes. We have so much fun on our shoots.
Right.
But, that is my photography business. And actually, I'm in transition because my photography business is transitioning into a full-scale creative agency.
Yay!
Called the J&M Creative Agency. And that's interesting. So, and fun and exciting. And so that's my creative side. And so the J&M Creative Agency is really the things that I do by myself. Okay. But we're going to build a team, and that way we can serve more people and really focus on like brand consulting and all that good stuff.
I know as long as I have known you, like you have really inspired me, honestly, because I've watched your journey, and I've watched specifically your journey with entrepreneurship, and like I draw energy from your page. like what's she up to now? Oh my gosh, I'm behind. Like, oh my gosh. So I got to figure out how to do a TikTok now. Hold on.
Listen, I'm still not on that TikTok game.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Tell us about the vulnerability project. There we go.
Vulnerability project. Oh my goodness. So I have been in therapy for over 2 years. Okay. I started my therapy journey over 2 years ago. And one day I was sitting in therapy, and this had to be, I guess, 2020 or so, end of 2020. I was sitting in therapy, and we were talking about me managing my perfectionism. Okay, because that has been a huge thing of me, a hurdle for me, perfectionism.
Okay.
And so me and my therapist were talking about.
I'm gonna say, you know the root.
The root of I do know the root. Yeah, you want me to share?
Sure.
Okay.
Because somebody might be listening that needs to know.
Okay. The root, and let me say this: my therapy journey has been the best for me because I've learned to get to the root of things.
Yeah, you have
I know
to.
exactly who I am. I know why I feel the way I do. When I'm sad, I know why I'm sad. I know how to get always to the root. And so that's
good.
power
You're able to
in
process
itself.
too.
Yeah. And so the root of my perfectionism is because I was definitely raised in a Christian household. And there was no option but to do what God says. Okay. And so it's just like when we were raised, like, you do what God says. Like, there's not really
no questions.
But it's like, but what if I know? Like, what are you doing? No.
What's the Bible say?
What does the Bible say? You know? So it's like, well, what if I want to have sex before marriage? What?
Yeah.
Like, I've never had a birds and a bees talk because ain't no birds, ain't no bees.
Yes.
Unless you're married. You know?
Then we'll talk.
Then we'll talk. And I'm like, I'm 56. You know? But so that is where it was, just because there was no option. And I'm not saying, that my childhood wasn't loving.
Absolutely,
it definitely was. And it wasn't like you're going to be perfect or else. But those types of things are built into your subconscious where I really can't make a mistake. And if I do make a mistake, I surely can't tell them.
Right.
So I think that is where it came from. It's just like, you got to do things right. It is two extremes. It really is. And so I just really love my parents and respect my parents. So I always wanted to do things right.
Yeah.
And I was a good kid anyway. So it's just like, okay, we're just going to go with the good kid, like, route.
Right.
And so that is where perfectionism is rooted for me, because now I'm an adult and I'm just like, things got to be right. Things got to be right. Even though I'm full-fledged an adult.
Right.
And things do not have to be right. And I've made a ton of mistakes, but
we all
I didn't have that avenue to express those mistakes, So now when you're an adult, you have to deal with that on your own.
Did you have some resistance with giving yourself grace? Grace for the mistakes?
I work through that in therapy.
Yeah.
Because even then, I have a tough time forgiving myself for making mistakes.
I was going to say, if you feel like you have to be perfect, then I could see how that would play out.
Yeah. And because sometimes it's easy to forgive other people. Like, you're fine.
It's easier.
But forgiving myself, like, no, Jazz, you shouldn't have did that. Like, no, you shouldn't have made that business decision. No. And let me tell you how bad it was. I'll give you an example. And that's why I'm so grateful for therapy in general. But I was in this entrepreneur group, and it was like one of the first Zoom meetings.
Okay.
And I when I logged on, it wasn't on mute. And I didn't even say nothing crazy or anything like that. I think I just made a noise, and like your picture pops up because you're the one not on mute. And I like put it on mute, and that really affected me. I was just like, oh my God, like, how did I not think to just... So that's how deep rooted like the perfectionism was.
Right. Now
I'm healed. And, managing. I'm going to say managing because it's still a journey.
So many people are in that same boat, myself included. So yeah.
And it's like those little things, and you'll make them big in your mind, and it'll be a distraction for what you need to do.
Right. And it can prevent you from moving forward and trying again.
So it was a year-long entrepreneur program. So I could have not logged on again.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Those kind of things kind of affect your whole life.
Right. Sometimes there's a whole list of things you would do differently versus, moving forward. Hey guys, thank you for joining us today, where I interviewed my friend Gisela McKeel, creative branding photographer, educator, and serial entrepreneur. Make sure you follow her and check out her website to love, like, and support. See you next time. Okay, so tell me about this, your class with Jazz. You're launching your education platform.
Yes.
We all need to sign up for that.
Listen, please do. Please do. But I'm gonna go back to the vulnerability project
Oh,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah,
I don't think I
please.
explained what it
No,
was.
let's go in depth.
Then we'll talk about Class with Jazz and all my other things.
Oh, you're the
but the
arms.
vulnerability project, I started it, like I said, last October, actually October 1st of last year.
Okay, congratulations, anniversary.
Yes, October 1st of last year. I was in my therapy session, and then I just wrote vulnerability project. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what is that? I just wrote it.
You had to download.
Right, that's what it was, really.
Jesus download.
And so I was looking through my notes again, and I was like, vulnerability project, what is that? And we were talking about how I need to become more vulnerable, because that will basically, it's the opposite of perfectionism, vulnerability.
That's
and
good.
so I wouldn't say opposite, but opposite
it'll
of
stretch
perfect.
you.
Yeah. And so I'm a very competitive person. And so I'm like, oh, he say I need to be vulnerable. We going to go live every day and we're going to talk about something vulnerable. And I did from October 1st to October 31st.
I love that.
Every single day I said something vulnerable, and I talked about things that I never in my life thought I would talk about on Instagram Live. And it did something beautiful. It was freeing for me, but it allowed people to be vulnerable. Some people said things on my lives that they've never told anyone else. It was literally a platform for other people to be free. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I started it back again, I think maybe a month ago. And it's once a week, Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's once
Say
a
it
week,
again.
but this time it's me, but I also invite people on there as well. You were a guest on
Yes, I was. I was shaking in my boots, but my lighting was off a little bit. But
it gets you out your comfort zone. It really does.
And I had been, needing to do that anyway. So thank you.
It shares a lot. It shares the platform for other people to be vulnerable and free, and it's becoming a very powerful thing. So I'm very grateful.
Right. Well, you're one of the most, and I keep saying this, and I mean it, brilliant, creative people that I know. I mean, you're constantly, always reinventing the wheel and bringing something to your platform that is new and innovative and inspiring. And, just from even African Americans, everything that that you do for us, represent us through your different businesses too. That's what I was trying to remember was about your
my apparel line.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna talk about class.
Yeah. Then we have so much to talk about.
I said serial entrepreneur,
right? Okay, we're gonna go in order, but I'm like, don't forget that one either.
So that we talked about vulnerability project. So Class with Jazz. Wow. Goodness. Finally, I'm creating an education platform after many years of people saying, can you teach me?
Begging.
Can you teach me? And I'm like, yeah, I'm coming soon. Coming soon.
To be continued.
Like soon is 5 years. But yes, it's an education platform called Class with Jazz. And the first couple courses are going to be photography based. So I'm teaching photography. I'm teaching photography for people that want to learn, people that are entrepreneurs that necessarily can't afford a photographer, because I know that could be a great expense when you're first starting out.
Right.
Just people who want to take better pictures, like period.
Right.
And so what's going to be different about Class with Jazz is that, yes, it's going to be formal, but we're about to literally just have fun. Like the way I'm talking now is how I'm going to teach.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's how I taught when I was a teacher. And so I'm really going to break things down in my own way. Like you may not hear a lot of the technical things,
right?
Because I'm going to teach you how you can understand and teach you so you can literally go out. And if you want to, do a photography side hustle, go do that, and you'll be equipped and you'll be ready. You know,
love
so
that.
that's the first course, and then my next course is going to be for photographers to build a business, an actual business that will sustain them if they want to be full time, and talk about systems and talking about how I literally have created a photography business that sustains my lifestyle. And so, and then after that, you know, I'm spiritual, so we're going to talk about spirituality and mindset, and those are just going to be courses on the Class with Jazz education platform.
Well, sign me up. I want to do it.
I'm excited. I really am.
Are you going to teach about the phone too? Because a lot of people, they may not have the money to get a camera first. So just the different, you know, because sometimes I get on there and I'm like, I don't even know half of what, you know, my phone can do.
Yes, I do have some modules on how to take pictures with your phone, because your phone is a very powerful camera.
Right.
You know, and sometimes I leave my camera and take my phone and it suffices. And so just how to take better pictures, period, with any camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your clothing brand, tell us about that.
So I also have a apparel line. It's called the Swart Shop. And I launched that this past February. And just the climate of our country and my love for my people, like that's why I started it, to celebrate Black excellence and just to remind us that we're rooted in royalty.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I've never, you know, been on a journey like starting an apparel brand. Like, I have so much respect for people that start apparel brands, because photography, I believe, is my gift, and it has come easy. And the success in my business, I wouldn't say it's come easy, but it's been a breeze. You know, it's been wonderful. But an apparel brand, that is where blood, sweat,
and
tears, listen, money, like, but it's been wonderful. And so the feeling I get when someone has on a Swart Shop shirt or something, man, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So
a point of pride.
Yes, it is so wonderful. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk about the single pandemic. Because as we know, you know, some people have kind of gone through this pandemic season alone, you know, or trying to navigate dating and so forth. So what do you think is the key to navigating, you know, dating? Online, face-to-face, all the wonderful options that are out there nowadays.
I think, I'm going to rephrase your question just a bit.
Okay.
How to stay sane.
Yeah. Right.
During this single pandemic. I think the most important thing first is just like, you have to know who you are. That's first. Because if you don't know that, first of all, you shouldn't be dating at all.
Right.
You know, so just knowing who you are, and once you're ready to date, I'm like an online dating girl. Like,
you like it?
I love online dating. Unfortunately, I'm not on online dating right now, and I can tell you the story if you want me to. But
yeah,
I am.
Let's hear it. No,
but I love it. I think because I'm a very down to earth person. So if we both swipe right or whatever kind of platform you're on, and we just don't work, like, I met you. And
that was nice.
Me.
We had a fun time.
That was nice. That was fun. You know, and it's just like we got a drink or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's just experiences.
And not taking it seriously.
Not taking
as serious.
Yes.
Because,
serious.
You know, some people are on there and their profiles are not what they really are.
Yeah.
So they don't know who they are and they're not representing who they are.
It's definitely
those
just
profiles.
a tricky thing. And that's why, like, I took it pretty serious, only because now, okay, let's rewind what serious means. I was looking for actually a friend. Let's put that, a friend first, someone I can actually know.
Okay.
Right? So I never was looking for hookups or anything like that.
Or a relationship.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I'm not even
Full-fledged.
saying that. I'm not even saying that, because I was open to the fact of I may meet somebody on here. Because to be honest, my ex-boyfriend, we were dating for a year and a half. I met him online.
Okay.
So, and then I took a break. And then when I got back on, I was like, I can probably meet somebody on here.
Right.
Because my whole entire year and a half relationship came from an online. Yeah.
Okay.
And also my best friend, her and her husband met online. So I knew the possibility was there.
Right.
But I think at the same time, if you go back to step number 1 of knowing yourself and know what you want, that's how you can enter into these dating situationships.
Yeah. Because I think when I went on, I was looking for a relationship, potential relationship, friend first in relationship, but ran into some people that were kind of playing around and, So, and then I lost wind because I was like, all this time I can't get back, and you were playing around.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a part of the dating game.
Keep swiping,
Yeah. And I think that's why it's really important just to be honest with people and not harsh or anything like that, but just truly be honest and just like,
This is what I
looking
want.
for something here. Like, if that's not it, don't waste my time.
Right.
Or if
That
somebody's
part.
ready to get married, like, I'm ready to get married. I'm not rushing it, but I'm looking for something serious. If that's not you, no problem. Hey, don't waste my time.
Well, because as an entrepreneur, like what we were talking about, I mean, you just don't have a lot of time. So if you make time to talk to somebody, then it needs to be,
Genuine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
We want to hear the story though.
why I'm not on.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay. So it was early July, and I was talking to a couple of people, and I couldn't go to sleep one night. And whenever I know I get my rest, okay, entrepreneurs, make sure you get your rest.
7 hours, 8 hours, 6
I
hours
get
at
at
least?
least 6 to 7 hours.
6 to
of sleep.
7. Okay.
Yeah. And so, and then people were mad because I'm like, I'm asleep by 10:30, 11. I'm sorry. That's how. I was
me
about
on
to go
another
on a
day.
whole nother tangent. But anyways, I couldn't sleep. And I was like, and usually when I can't sleep like that, where I literally couldn't go back, is usually God like nudging me. And so I'm like, what's up? What you need?
What you need, Lord? Hello.
What you need? And he literally said, get rid of the people and start believing for your husband. And so I knew what get rid of the people meant. I knew what it meant. And I'm like, God dang it. So that night, I think it was like 4:00 in the morning. I logged off and deleted all of my online dating sites, which I miss them, to be honest.
I deleted mine too.
I miss them. Deleted all my online dating sites and also stopped talking to a couple people that I was talking to. And so that's why I'm not on them at this point. And I'll keep y'all updated
Yeah.
on this thus said husband that's supposed to be coming around here
He's
sometimes.
coming. Hey, he may show up at the door like the Amazon guy.
Listen. So we'll see.
I'm always interested in knowing when people are dealing with mental health issues or times where you said, I know you went to therapy. What are some other things that you've done to manage your mental health when you feel that you're low or having some problems?
So always I have to, practically, I have to go back to my affirmations. After prayer, of course, I, pray and things like that, but I have to go back to who I am not in this moment. Because in this moment, I feel like I'm low. Or in this moment, I feel like I'm not good enough. Or in this moment, I feel like this is not working.
How do you get back to that person?
You have to remind yourself. That's why everything has to be written down.
Right.
Like, no, let me tell you who you actually are. You actually are an actual conqueror.
Absolutely.
Like, God gave you this vision for a reason.
Right.
People out there need you. And these things have to be written and in sight at all times.
Absolutely.
In my office, I have literally a huge, poster.
I've seen it. It's beautiful, y'all. But go ahead.
Of all the things, all the businesses that God has placed on my heart to start. So when I'm feeling like this ain't working, you better look up. And you better see that just because it's not working, you got to get over this because these things have to be done.
Right.
You have to get over this because there's somebody literally waiting on you to do what you're going to do so they can have some type of freedom.
I want to stop you there because I feel like some people lose sight of that. I mean, I know I'm guilty of that too. And it's, how can you focus on the people that really need you versus the people that may not be in support of you. Because they're out there. And sometimes I think their voices, their opinion speaks louder to what you're trying to build or what you're in the process of building, I should say.
The loudest voice should always be your own.
Absolutely.
Right? The loudest voice should always be your determination. And I think that's why it's important to always have who you truly are around you at all times. But at the same time, I always learn to focus on the people that are here and that do support. And the other people really don't matter because you never know, those people may come around.
True.
And even like when I'm doing my Instagram lives, sometimes I'm talking to myself.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'm on there like still like, y'all write in the comments. You, Gisela, are the only one on here.
Right.
You recognize that.
Right. But that's okay.
That's okay. And I think about my aunt. She's actually my mother's cousin, but I call her my aunt. We have like this family prayer line. And my aunt started this prayer line over 15 years ago. 15 years of every Saturday getting on. Every Saturday. Every single Saturday getting on. Not caring if nobody else was on. If there was only one person, she prayed harder. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I look at that. But now my mom and my aunt is taking it over. And I told her, as she's sitting in the hospital, I said, you do not know, but you were creating your legacy right then.
Right.
You don't know
Absolutely.
that you coming on now, multiple generations are going to be changed because you decided to pray on Saturday.
Right.
So it's just like when you think about those things, it's just like, I'm doing this for a reason. And back to your first question, your why. Your why has to be really powerful. Your why cannot be, because I just want some money. Money is not good enough because money comes and money goes. Money flows.
Absolutely.
And so it's just like you can't think of small things like that, but you have to think of something that's going to be withstanding the times, withstanding the confusion, withstanding the things that you can't control. So when it comes to overcoming as an entrepreneur and overcoming your mental health, you just have to really see the bigger picture and be like, I'm doing this because of the people. I'm doing this because God put something inside of me that someone else needs. I don't care if it's one person. I don't care if it's 100,000 people. So that has to be the main thing.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and you come from such a rich heritage of strong African-American women.
Wow, thank you.
In your family. I mean, that is so awesome. How do you plan to continue the legacy and leave a legacy behind?
Oh, doing what I'm doing right now.
Is there anything else that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's one of my biggest things. I saw a post that was like, if Jesus come back after I get my ish together, I'm going to be so pissed.
Right.
And I am. I'm going to be so
Give me some more time. I need
like,
some more time.
On. I'm just like, I want to die empty.
I always say that. It's like,
everything.
Lord, I don't want to die dormant. Like, I want to have everything that you have that I need to deliver, that I need to give, that I need to learn. I want to do it.
Yeah.
With your help and your guidance. I want to do
that's
it.
how it has to be. But it's amazing because you never know what your life will transition into. I never would have thought that I would be an educator again in my own terms, or I never would have, so you never know where your life is going to go. But I definitely want to be a motivational speaker traveling the world.
You really should. You motivated me over here.
So I definitely want to, if you know who Marcus Lemonis is, like the prophet, or, Reginald Lewis, just where he's selling businesses and companies and going in and making them better and selling them or keeping them like that.
I could see that for you. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that fires me up to create jobs and to create opportunities for people that didn't have them, and just to go in and change atmospheres and say, no, anybody that walks up in here is going to feel the love or feel blessed or feel, to create businesses all over the world like that.
Global.
That is
global,
exciting.
baby.
That's exciting.
Hey, I'm excited too.
Yes.
I want to watch.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you know what our name means, Nicole? You know what it means? It's victorious, overcome. Well, victory of the people. So I'm sitting here listening to you. And, because did your mom name you or your grandmother or who named you?
My mom.
Okay. Because she named you that. I mean, victory of the people, victorious overcomer is what it means in Italian. So anytime I'm dealing with something, I always remind myself that my mom, she could have chose any name, but she chose that name. So,
yes.
There's people.
That's powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, that's one of the things my therapist does at the your very first session.
Okay.
Is he tells you the meaning of your name.
Awesome.
Because that's who you are. So I know Gisela means beautiful flower, messenger of love.
Wow.
So, but
and those two together?
Yeah, I'm like, messenger of love.
Well, no, I'm saying the meaning of your first name and the meaning of Nicole, your middle name.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's legacy right there in words, in a name.
Victorious overcomer. I really like that.
In Italian.
I have to write that down.
Awesome. Well, what are we going to say next? No.
No, we can talk
right.
I'm in my bag.
Oh, right. Well, thank you for coming, but I really appreciate you being on today. But before we get off, I want you to speak to someone that is going through, maybe a dark time right now. Maybe they're broken in some way or feeling like they're broken and having some mental health issues. It could be an entrepreneur, maybe not an entrepreneur. What would you say to them to motivate them in the season that they're in? A dark time. I mean, maybe even go back to what you just came through and how people, came around and helped you and
I took a pause because I really want to make sure this is coming from within and not my head.
Take the time you need.
But hard times are temporary. We go through them just to build us. Literally, like you have a hard time to build your character for the next level. So don't make a home in the hard time. Right?
Love that. Don't make a home.
Right. Don't make a home. You don't live there. All you're doing is passing through in order to get the lessons that you're supposed to get in order for you to go to the next level. Right? And the next level is calling you. So don't get stuck because you're never stuck. Being stuck is literally just a mindset.
Right.
Right. So go through the tough time, go through the darkness, really understand why you're there, feel the feelings that you need to feel.
That part. Because sometimes we don't want to feel, so we just keep moving and don't do it. Yeah.
That part. Feel the feeling. That's the only way to overcome.
Right.
And in August, I actually was dealing with the high functioning depression. And so that basically means I still did all my responsibilities, but I did not want to do them. I just couldn't. I didn't really have the energy, but I mustered up the energy just to get it done.
How did you?
Because things still have to be done. I can't. I have an assistant, but I can't be like, girl, this business is yours. You've got
I'll be back. Pass the torch.
And I just moved to downtown Dallas, so rent has to be paid. Right? But that's why I was high functioning, because I still did the things I needed to do. I still smiled. I still showed up. But when I was alone by myself, I was not okay. I was not okay. So that whole thing, check on your strong friends, it's really a thing.
Absolutely.
Check on them. Check on the people that seem like they got it all together.
They're distant.
But but I was not okay. And it wasn't until I said, okay, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of crying. Like, let me feel why I feel this way. Wow. So I took a bath. Okay. And I felt everything I felt. I felt sorry for myself. I felt the fact that I didn't feel like I could do this. I felt all those things. Again, those things are temporary. Okay. That didn't mean get up out the bathtub and go lay in the bed and be like, oh, you was right.
I'm not getting up.
You was right in the tub. But no, it was just like, these are the things I feel. I don't know why I'm feeling them, but these are the things that I feel, and they're true. And I'm valid to feel these things.
Right.
Because we're human.
But it's a season.
Right? But it's just a season. Then after that, I'm like, okay, I think I got this again.
Yeah.
And it's a process. You may have to take a bath every day,
And just sit with it.
It's a process. And so that's what I would tell people. Just feel what you actually feel. Don't try to cover it up. Don't try to say, oh no, it's just whatever.
Or speed it up.
Or just brush it off. Stop. Take off if you need to, a day or so. But do whatever you have to do to feel the feelings, get the lessons that you're supposed to get, and move forward.
You have blessed me today, and I know she's blessed you guys as well. I mean, you're already motivationally speaking, so I just can't wait until that platform is birthed. And if it doesn't birth on its own, then I know you have the skill set to birth it yourself.
Listen, that's the only plan, birthing myself.
Right. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I want you to share with us, how people can contact you, do work with you, and just be inspired by you.
Okay, so we'll start with Instagram. So my Instagram is Gisella McKeel. That's JAZZELLA McKeel.
Double Z, double L.
McKeel. And my website is actually GisellaMcKeel.com for now.
Okay.
I'm rebranding, so it'll be different.
Okay. And stay tuned for that.
What else? Is that it?
I think so. Yeah, website,
Gisella
Instagram, Facebook. Do you do Facebook?
Gisella McKeel.
Okay.
On everything.
Everything is the same. Well, thank you so much.
Wait, one more. Okay, the Swart Shop.
Yes, we need that one.
Is THE, the Swart, SWART, shop.com. So Swart actually means black
I like
the
that.
African language.
I like that.
So.
And you're mobile, right? Mobile and global, because I know you've traveled with me.
Yes.
Traveled the world with me.
And on a plane.
We try to always be on a plane.
Yeah.
And, so you can do photography, in-state, out-of-state, out the country, right? Put a little shameless plug in there for you.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today, where I had Gisella McKeel in just to interview her on all that she does. Please connect with her. I mean, this is an amazing person. Like I said, a real good friend of mine. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining today. Hope you guys loved this week's episode on the Nikki Speaks TV Mental Health Series show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, and TikTok. And my web address is linktree/Nikki.speaks. Can't wait to see you next time.